Hi, my name is Celine, and today I want to talk to you about the science behind laminitis in horses. But to understand that, we first must understand a horse's digestive tract. Horses are monogastric herbivores, meaning that they have a single-chamber stomach and they only eat plants. But they're also hindgut fermenters, meaning that as food moves through their body, it, as the name would imply, goes to the hindgut, which is made up of the large intestine, the colon, and the cecum. And this is where microbial fermentation occurs. Now, initially moving through their digestive tract, the small intestine digests carbohydrates such as sugars and starches, but if there's too much, then the excess will overflow into the hindgut. And when these excess soluble carbohydrates flow into the hindgut, bacteria responsible for helping digest these foods cannot keep up with the excess and will begin to die. And unfortunately, as these bacteria die, they become toxic, and this toxicity will then permeate through the gut wall and into the bloodstream, and it will eventually make its way to horse's hoof and cause inflammation of the lamina, hence the name laminitis. In the hoof, the coffin bone is the bone right behind the hoof wall that is attached to the wall by the lamina, which are like small interconnected fingers. The hoof wall is attached to the insensitive lamina, which in turn connect to the sensitive lamina, which are attached to the coffin bone. The coffin bone is connected to two tendons, the deep digital flexor tendon in the back and the main extensor tendon in the front. And it's important to note that these two tendons are sort of in a game of tug-of-war over the coffin bone. But the flexor tendon is a few times bigger than the extensor tendon, so to ensure that the coffin bone stays where it should be, which is parallel to the hoof wall, you want to make sure that the connection between the lamina and the hoof wall remains strong with sufficient blood flow. Because if there's not a good blood flow, then the lamina will begin to die and the coffin bone will begin to pull away from the hoof wall. And this is sort of like having your fingernail ripped off, and as you can imagine, is very painful. In the early stages of laminitis, you usually can cure it, or not cure, but reverse it. But once the lamina dies, there's nothing you can do. And so the coffin bone has been known to sink down through the hoof, or it has even been known to rotate. So that's why it's very important to make sure that a horse's lamina and hoof has a sufficient blood flow, and you want to make sure that you get a correct diet, because too much lush grass or too much carbs found in feed or hay will affect this blood flow and will cause your horse to get laminitis. Now that you understand laminitis in horses, hopefully you can go out and prevent it in your own furry friend. And I was going to tell you a joke about it, but unfortunately they're all pretty lame. So I'll save it for another time, and thanks for watching.